Frustration. I know we are going to talk about it, don't worry. But that was not such a bad performance, was it, Geordies? Well, I don't think so. And in the next few minutes, I'll explain why I am optimistic for the future. So, grab a cuppa as we go through a brief match reaction, the player ratings, and what I think this means for us going forward. So the match starts off in typical as expected fashion when playing Manchester City at the Etihad. They come flying out the blocks, immediately have us under the cosh and get about 15 corners in the space of a couple of minutes. However, the lads stood up to the pressure, remaining tight, resolute, managing to keep them off the score sheet. But only for so long, unfortunately. Now, as I was watching, I just felt that we were giving them far too much space, far too much time, and frankly, far too much respect. A hallmark of our game over recent years has been the press. Listen, I know the lads are tired. I get tired just standing up off my sofa. I know that they've done a lot of traveling over the past couple of weeks, and I know that maintaining a certain level of intensity, especially with a 35-year-old right back, is very, very, very difficult. I do get that. But to beat a team like City, you're not going to out-football them. You're not going to dominate them in possession. So you've got to make sure that the press is on point. You've got to rush them, harry them, and force errors. Dropping off, giving a pep team time on the ball is asking for punishment. And so it told with Nico O'Reilly's admittedly lovely opener being fed the ball through a Newcastle defence which was honestly at 6s and 7s. Could Pope have got a stronger hand to the ball? Look, I'm not going to single the lad out here. I actually really rate Nick Pope, and maybe on another day his hand is stronger, maybe he's had some extra Weetabix, I don't know. Who knows? But credit to the shot and the young lad who took it. I'm happy to report that we did not let our heads drop and we came right back into the game with a nice second phase deflected shot from our man Lewis Hall. But as has happened so often in the league this year, we failed to consolidate, maintain momentum and steady ourselves, and we let City play through us yet again, admittedly again with some lovely interplay, but it's a brace from your man Nico O'Reilly with a headed goal. It's frustrating defending, I will be honest, and I do think we could have done better here. The half progresses and we just have to talk about that Dan Burn and Ruben Diaz incident. Listen, I always want to be fair and not too biased. Was there a push? 100% yes, there was. Did it affect the play? Of course it did. Was Dan Burn offside when he was pushed anyway? Hard to tell. Was the officiating here utter rubbish? You bet it was. Again, we're hard done by the refs, by VAR, and at this point we're wondering why the universe seems to be against us. But the second half was, for me, an entirely different affair, and one in which Newcastle played brilliantly, never giving up, chasing the game with intent, playing some wonderful football, ultimately being let down, in my opinion, by a gulf in class and talent. You know, there's a moment in the game when Gordon is through on goal. It's in the second half, as I remember. All Elanga has to do is show some awareness and talent to thread the ball through. And it's a one-on-one with Donnarumma. But what happens? Elanga completely ignores the opportunity. Gordon is throwing his hands in the air, furious, and a promising attack peters out. And that is one of the themes of this season. Just a general lack of class in the final third. The half progresses, Bernardo Silva picks up a yellow card for, well, being Bernardo Silva, quite honestly. And then only moments later, he thinks it's a great idea to just charge Dan Burn and ram him to the ground. It's almost as if he just knew he was impervious and immune to the commonly agreed and widely documented laws of the game. Eddie Howe rolls the dice with several substitutions, but they yield very little benefit for us, often running around like headless chickens. City hold out, and the game ends 2-1. And now for those player ratings. Nick Pope, solid. Couple of important saves in the second half. Maybe could have done better with the first goal. He gets a 6 from me. Lewis Hall, ever dependable. Sometimes got the ball caught up in his feet, but he had a well-taken goal. It's a 7 from me. Dan Burn, clumsy a lot of the time. Flailed around quite a lot. Tasty battle with Erling Haaland. Perhaps unlucky not to have scored. 5. Malik Chow, dependable as always, maybe could have done better with the second City goal. It's a 6. Trips, again, done for pace a couple of times. Marmoush had the better of him, to be honest, and could have got on the score sheet. As much as I love the man, we really do need Tino Livramento back. It's a 4 from me. And into the middle of the park, Sandro Tonali, ole, 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 a few misplaced passes, a generally quiet game by his standards, gets a 6. Ramsey, I do like the look of this lad. He's developing well. He had a couple of visionary passes. He holds the ball up pretty well. He got a 7 from me. Nick Voltemada, I told you this lad is a baller, and I just hope that we can find his best position. I do believe that he is a 9, as I've said before, but Gordon seems to have that spot on lock for now. Some very cute passes, can really see a pass, holds the ball up well most of the time, can really see a play. He gets an 8. And on the wings, Willock, quiet game, very quiet game, didn't really offer much, to be honest. He gets a 5. And on to Elanga. How much more can we say about this young lad? He just seems a bit frantic, really, doesn't he? Couldn't really do much with the ball when he had the ball on the right side of the pitch and loads of space to run into. At the back, was easily defended, shoved out of play. Couldn't really see Gordon's lovely run. Guys, he's really poor, to be honest. And really not improving. He gets a 3. And then up front is your man, Anthony Gordon. Look, he's always going to be a massive topic of debate, but the lad's doing really well leading the line for me. Last night, he was pressing well, keen to work angles for a shot, made some quality runs. He's just got that pace that we've been missing since he who shall not be named did us dirty in the summer. He gets an 8. I'm not going to score the subs, to be honest, as they were for me largely ineffective and absent, not offering a whole lot to change the game or to change the dynamic of the game, which is a shame, especially in Barnes' case. And again, only exposes how light our squad depth really is still. But here's the thing, Geordies. We played well last night, away at the Etihad. We were not outplayed. We weren't dominated. We weren't outclassed, we weren't played off the park. We pushed that City team all the way with passion, we played with endeavour, and we had some really lovely passages of play. I loved the spirit, to be honest. If Elanga sees that pass, maybe we make it 2-2. If the refs do their job properly, maybe City go down to 10 men, and it's a different story. We did not capitulate, guys. We didn't drop heads, we didn't fade away and allow City to run riot. And you could see, by the end of that game, on the faces of those City lads, they'd been tested. They'd really been run ragged, and they knew that they had to put a shift in last night just to keep the lads out. Before the game, we had 3 wins on the bounce, away wins. The new formation, the new style of play, something seems to be yielding some benefit somewhere in that mix. There's a renewed passion in the team, and we're due to get some real reinforcements back in the squad fairly soon, with the likes of Livramento, Botman, and Bruno G coming back into the mix. I am optimistic because I really do think that we can beat City at home in the next round of the FA Cup. We did it once already this season, and if we can, then who knows how far the FA Cup can take us? Potentially all the way to the Europa League. I am confident. I'm looking at these fixtures here, and yes, there are some tough fixtures, of course. But Man United, well, we've had the better of them in recent times. Chelsea, inconsistent, even at home. Sunderland will be out for revenge that day, I can assure you. No way we don't thrash them in the derby. So guys, I know we lost, but can you feel the shift? I certainly can. I want to know what you think in the comments. Things for me, well, they are looking up. How are the lads?